Curry with Tucker right with him. Curry launches a three. Puts it in again! Steph Curry from downtown! Curry surrounded, finds Draymond Green. Green to the basket, kicks it out of Iguodala. Thompson for three. Bang! Klay Thompson from downtown. It's a 6-point lead. Timeout Rockets.
They say that the heart of a champion can't be measured. It can with numbers. 118 to 113. The Golden State Warriors dispose of the Rockets on the road without Kevin Durant, with Steph Curry having 0 points in the first half. And then he had 33. Welcome inside our studios in Atlanta. It's Game Time Live Playoff Edition. Casey Stern, Smitty, B. Wood, our Friday Night Live crew. And other than wow, I don't know what else you can really say to describe what we just watched from the champs. And we learned again why they're champs.
Bang! That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, B. Wood. That's what happened. B. Wood, you know, we've been around this game a long time, but the performance, these Golden State Warriors, and let's just start off with the bench. I'm going to get to the stars. I mean, Kevon Looney, Sean Livingston, Jerebko, Jordan Bell, McKinney, those guys came out, played extremely well, and then we'll get to those guys. Bang! It was unreal.
The Splash Brothers, they were definitely at the night. What you were talking about with the bench, 33 big points off the bench for the Golden State Warriors. Listen, I know Kevin Durant didn't play, but they had Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney really stepped up. He was incredible in the first half. He was making play after play, and sometimes the ball didn't go in, but he was making the right play. He was getting the ball, drawing the defense, kicking it to the weak side. He was doing everything they needed. I was very impressed by Kevon Looney, how he played. The moment never seemed too big. And then the second half, you know what time it was.
Well, look, you mentioned, and we'll get to the others.
Time.
Livingston, double digits, first time since January the 16th. Looney, 6 of 8, 14 points, boards, second chance points. But, oh, wait a minute. There's Steffertless. Yeah, that's what the second half was. Not the first. He had 0.
Big bucket.
Here's the final stretch that decided it.
Cash money.
A 3. The hand. Ouch.
And he shot that from deep, too. He shot that
you
from
can
yeah.
see the pain.
He shot that from Bun B's house.
No pain, no gain.
He got the Houston leverage.
Hey, man, somebody stop ball.
To the rack, off glass, up 2.
This is the one
PJ
for me.
Tucker, up on him.
Oh,
this is the one.
Forget about
Lead
it.
with it. Lead with it. Rock with it.
Hey, man, this is exciting
Taking
basketball.
all 3 of these with him. And then there's more, yes.
Hey, come on.
Old
What they said about
Warriors.
Klay Thompson?
Can't leave that guy alone.
Oh, my God, boy. They came out, played.
You cannot.
You got to stunt.
You got to stunt. You have to give that shot to Iguodala right there.
You have to, B-Wood.
You cannot run off of Klay. Chris Paul cannot run off of Klay Thompson.
118.
Chase Iguodala in the corner.
113. Steph and Klay combine for 60 points. Here's Steph after the win with Lisa Salters. What can you say? Look, Steph's shot had not been going to the tune of what? How about 26% from 3 coming into the game? He started 3 of 12 from the field. He was 6 of 8 after that. 5 of 9 in the fourth after KD went down in the last game. So when it mattered most, even though overall, Smitty, he did not shoot the ball well in total for the series, in the 2 most important quarters of the series, he was the best player on the floor.
When do you want one of your players to be the best player?
At the most important times.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
That's what they tell us.
And right now they're going back to Oakland with the win. The series is over. I mean, first of all, Klay Thompson did an unbelievable job of carrying those guys that started the first half. Because Steph was in foul trouble, B. Wood, he wasn't playing well. But then, boy, did Steph show us toughness, shot making, and you talking about a performance with 33 in the second half. It was unreal. Everything went wrong for the Golden State Warriors except playing that first half. Draymond Green in foul trouble. Steph in foul trouble. No points by Stephen Curry. And then to come out, not only to be able to score, they executed defensively. They had a great game plan, especially at the end of the game. They understood the spacing of running with Draymond Green. You double, we had to play with Draymond, make the right play. And if you didn't, and if you switch, I love the play when Draymond got it and handed it right back off. understand why they got those open looks. I'm making somebody else beat me. Even on the last time, me and B. Will was on the same page. I'm stunting at Iguodala. No disrespect, but he has to take the shots.
I got some questions from Mike D'Antoni.
D'Antoni got some answers.
What could he say?
They just kept on fighting, and you guys just didn't make the little things happen?
Yeah, I mean, when there were times that we could have made some big plays and got a little separated, we just didn't get it, and we just couldn't make the big play. You know, a big shot or a big steal or whatever. You know, first of all, they're champions. They come in here down a man, but the way they shot the ball and the way they played, they're smart, and that's why they won rings. And we got to get there somehow.
Mike, how tough is this for you guys, James, Chris, everybody, knowing how hard you fought the last few seasons and how difficult this team has been to beat?
Well, this one's going to leave a mark. This is not something you just get over with. You know, I'm definitely not going to get over it in this press conference or tomorrow or the next day, but this one hurts. We didn't play our best, and to beat these guys, you got to play your best. It's almost like in a boxing match, you got to knock the champion out, and we didn't knock him out. And we're not going to win on points. You know, we didn't do it. We didn't deliver the blows that would at least get us back to Golden State. But, you know, again, I don't know the degree of difficulty of their shots, but it was not easy, and they knocked them in when they counted.
You held Steph scoreless in the first half, but Clay had 21, Steph with 33 in the second half. What did they do different after halftime?
Nothing. I mean, they didn't do anything different. They just played a lot better. Maybe our legs got a little tireder, but, you know, Steph was incredible, obviously. 33 points in the second quarter is ridiculous. But, you know, he has those streaks, and I did make the comment at half, that's not good, he's got 0. Because you know he was going to come back and get a lot of points. I didn't envision 33 points, but, you know, he's capable, obviously, and he did it.
Well, Mike, you mentioned they're champions, and obviously the Warriors have a lot to do. You know, the players they have a lot to do with this. How much, though, especially fourth quarter, it's close, is there just a mental hurdle getting over Golden State?
Well, I think getting anybody and closing out a series, and it's especially when they're that good. You cannot relax on defense for 1 second. You cannot forget to box out 1 second. You've got to go. You've got to be a champion to be the champion. And I just thought there's too many times that we had a miscommunication, we relaxed a little bit, or we weren't really 100% sharp. We were playing hard and trying to do it, and you know, but just not with them. You cannot make a mental mistake, not for a second. There was going to be 3 points, and they got us a few times.
Coach, throughout the series and now in the playoffs, how would you assess the way Clint played and has grown from last playoffs, and where does he need to continue to develop and get better? Well,
you know, Clint was huge during the whole regular season. He played great. And then against Utah, he played great. I thought this series not quite as well, but that's also contributed to Draymond Green and Littles out there and all that stuff. So, you know, I just think Clint is a classy guy. He'll learn from this. He'll get better. He's only 25. He'll get stronger. But, you know, again, it's expectations. And let me just look real quick. I mean, like, you know, Looney goes 14-5, and everybody was saying how great it was. You know, Clint goes, where do you go? If I can read. Clint goes 10-10, and he somehow is not playing well. You know, it's like, so the expectation is way high for him. And I think he was a little below than what his normal stats, you know, his 17, 20 rebounds, all that. But you're playing against a great competition. So it's not like, you know, he wasn't trying. He was getting hit pretty hard and could have been better. But you know what? He's got a bright future, and I'll go down with guys like that. He's a class guy. So if you're going to lose, you lose with guys like that. He's trying to do everything he can do.
Mike, it looked like there was double teaming and trapping on Curry. What was the thinking behind that defensive strategy in particular, and then how effective do you think it was in the fourth?
Well, obviously it wasn't real effective. We got 33 in the second half, but it wasn't all the time. We wanted to do it sparingly. But when one time we had it on and we didn't trap him, and he hits a 3. You know, it's just like little things. Just we weren't real quick about adjusting what we needed to do, what we were doing, and being able to take, okay, from the timeout we said trap to the floor, first pick and roll trap, and we don't do it. You know, just little things like that. And that comes a little bit of experience, a little bit of being in that situation before. You know, obviously they present a big hump, and we just didn't get over it.
You mentioned this one will take a long time to get over. I imagine that's always somewhat true.
Yeah.
Is there a greater sense of that in that there were so many games with opportunities, and then this last game and a little more with no KD?
Without a doubt. And again, I knew they were going to be tough. They beat us here without KD a couple months ago, so it's not like, you know, we came in thinking. But a lot of times you play not to lose instead of playing to win, and that's getting over the hump. You know, they're playing to win. And we need to get that mentality, and I think as we go forward, we'll get it. Our core is still young, and Daryl will do a great job of putting in other pieces. And, you know, again, I know it's, wait till next year, whatever. But in reality, that's what we got to do. We got to gather ourselves this summer, get the core group, and bust it next year. And I mean, there's no time limit right now. It's not like, okay, we can't do it next year. Yeah, we can. But we, you know, hopefully we'll learn from this. And
look, first of all, when it comes to statistics, this is one that Coach D'Antoni not going to like. Per Elias, fourth coach ever to have his team eliminated.
You've been around and you guys have fought hard. What do you say after a game like
They
this?
just outplayed us. You know, they played smarter than us. They made the big plays when we didn't. Too many turnovers, and they just beat us.
Chris, what'd you think of? Sorry, over here. What'd you think of the way that you guys defended Curry? There were times when he was real quiet, gets kind of hot at the end. What do you think of the way you guys defended?
Yeah, they just started at the end running ball screen with him and Draymond was slipping it. We let Steph get a couple butt-naked layups. Clay moving, hitting big shots, and it's funny because everybody, you know, even Shump talk about it all the time. You say make the other guys beat you, and you know, Iguodala, how many threes he hit? Five out of 8. You know, you say make the other guys beat you, and they damn sure did that. You know what I mean? And then they players made big time plays when they needed to.
Chris, were there points in the game where you felt like, you know, you had a little bit of momentum and then they would either get an offensive rebound or there'd be a turnover or something?
Yeah, all the time. Every time we had a chance to go to 10 or something like that, we make a turnover or offensive rebound, and they, like I said, they made the plays, you know, so.
Last year in the playoffs, you had a lot of wings to combat the way they played. This year, you play a lot more ball handlers with a small ball. Did you learn something from those last 2 years? Do you guys prefer going with ball handlers versus wings against these guys?
Nope. We just lost.
Chris, obviously last year you didn't get a chance to finish the series. There without KD here. How much is there just kind of a feeling that you guys let a huge opportunity slip?
Regardless who playing, I mean, it ain't no moral victories. You know what I mean? We lost. We got to go to the drawing board. First thing, analyze, you know, myself, what I can get better at. And, you know, we going home. You know, that's what it is.
Chris, on your left. When you came out of the game, I think 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, was that your call or was that coach trying to get you some rest there before the end?
Is that when I got hit in the eye?
Yeah.
Well, I got hit in the eye, so I couldn't. You know what I mean? I was trying to make sure I could see again. I think. I don't know. It's a blur now. We lost, and that's stupid. Yeah.
You mentioned back to the drawing board. Is there a feeling in 6 games as close as these 6 were, what's lacking or what they have that you need to get to reach that level?
We'll see. I don't know. We just got to play smarter. I made that last 3 Clay hit, I made a false step towards Iguodala, and that's all he need. You know what I mean? Clay is tough. You know what I mean? He guards, he shoots. You know what I mean? So we let him get loose. And, you know, first half, I don't think Steph had scored at all or anything, and the game was tied, you know. So, like I said, get them credit. They made the big plays, and, you know, they beat us.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so let's go back to where we were. As obviously Chris Paul, unhappy. Look, he played well for a majority of the game, 11 and 19, 27 points, and 11 boards and 6 assists. I mean, he was hooping and hitting buckets.
And hold on now, because I know all summer, all I heard about was, man, if we would have had Chris Paul, all I heard from Rockets, if we would have had Chris Paul, we would have beat those Golden State Warriors. We would have won.
With Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we guaranteed. If Chris Paul played, we would have won. Fast forward, no Kevin Durant. Chris Paul plays. And Chris Paul played well. This isn't a knock at Chris Paul, but the excuse last year for the Rockets was, well, we were hurt. We lost because Chris Paul didn't play. Well, now Kevin Durant doesn't play.
Yep.
Golden State goes out there and wins. That is what everybody wanted the Rockets to do last year. Just go out and win. Take care of business. Golden State took care of business. Houston didn't. 2 years in a row.
Here's Steve Kerr.
I just want to say congrats to Houston. That team, it's one of the very best teams we've played, during this 5-year run. They put so much pressure on you at both ends of the floor. It's a tremendous two-way basketball team. And we had to scrap and fight for everything the last 2 years against them, and we've been fortunate enough to come out on top. Obviously, it speaks to our group and their toughness and talent, but I can't speak any more highly of Houston and their grit and their competitiveness and their talent. That was an absolute grind, just like last year's. It's a great basketball team, but we're thrilled to be moving on and excited to have this one in our rearview mirror. And now we've got a lot more work ahead, but very satisfying victory tonight.
Coach, you called your team effing giants after the last win. What would you call them now, and speak on their performance?
Just giants. I'm not going to swear tonight. They're giants. They're champions. These guys are a historically good basketball team, and you don't do this. You don't do what these guys have done without an incredible combination of talent and character. And I could go down the list, but I thought, Steph epitomized that tonight. 0 points at halftime, 3 fouls, a complete non-factor in the game, and then just completely took over the game on a night when everything was going wrong. And he found a way to turn it around. I also want to single out the bench. Just an amazing night from a group of guys who have not played this entire series. Houston put so much pressure on you in isolation that, frankly, we just decided to stick with our best defenders over the first 5 games. And obviously injuries forced us to use the bench. I probably should have used them earlier. Over the years, we've played a lot of people. We like to use our bench. We talk about strength in numbers. But the coach wasn't doing much of that the first 5 games. So I'm just incredibly proud of, Jordan and Jonas. Kevon had a great series, but Quinn Cook to do what he did tonight, coming into the game without really having played the whole series. Those guys were amazing and really a huge factor in the win.
Coach, much has been made about Steph's, foul trouble throughout the series, and he got those quick 4 early. Can you talk about how he was able to balance that with that incredible second half?
Well, that's what Steph does. I mean, I actually told his mom and dad after the game. I said, if that game didn't personify Steph Curry, I don't know what did. I mean, he's a guy who can make some plays that leave you scratching your head. The fouls, some of the turnovers, not tonight, but sometimes he just makes plays and you kind of look around thinking, what is he doing? But most of the time he makes these incredible plays and he's just fearless. And that's what makes him who he is. So he reminds me a little bit of Manu Ginobili, not so much in the style of play, but in the kind of swashbuckling nature, you know. Manu used to drive Pop nuts. My last year with the Spurs was Manu's rookie year, and you know, Pop would be pulling his hair out, and that's how I felt when I started coaching Steph. You know, he makes these plays that, you know, nobody could have taught him this stuff. You wonder what he's thinking, and then you sort of realize after a while, leave him alone. He's so good that he's going to counteract, you know, the few crazy plays he makes with an amazing number of good ones and clutch ones. He's an incredible basketball player, a wonderful leader for our team, and just made some amazing plays down the stretch.
Steve, Marcus Thompson with The Athletic. You talked a lot about how great Andre has been. When he's on the court, how does it make you feel knowing that he's out there and he's defending and handling the ball and doing what he does?
It's like when your kids are at home and there's a babysitter there. That's Andre. Like you just feel more comfortable knowing there's an adult out there who's keeping everybody settled down. That game, I think, was you know, probably not winnable without Andre's contributions. Making 5 threes. You know, he made a few of them, I think 2 or 3 in the first half when we were really struggling without Steph. And I thought Clay also kept us going in that first half. But, you know, Andre just does so much for us at both ends of the floor. I mean, there's a reason he has had the career he's had. He's been finals MVP. He's a multi-time champion, Olympian, All-Star. Andre's an incredible basketball player.
Coach, earlier you talked about your bench. I'm right here in the middle. Earlier you talked about your bench, but could you go into a little bit more detail about how big Kevon Looney was? Because Game 5, he came in the first quarter and gave you all a lot of energy, and then tonight he came out 14 big points. And he also kind of rendered Clint Capella ineffective.
Looney has been a rock for us all year, one of our key contributors. He's wise beyond his years. You know, he's a guy who just understands the game and makes the right play over and over again. Really, really smart, and he's so easy to coach. And his teammates have so much respect for him. And he was great all series, and big tonight as well.
Now that y'all have advanced, do you feel like there's a chance that Durant could be back for the next round?
I think in a week, and we'll see. But there's really no way of making any predictions right now. It's an injury that requires sort of an update every few days, and so as of now, we don't have any updates.
Hey, Steve. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat. Obviously, the objective was to survive and advance any way you could, but with the schedule of the next round being so tough with a game every other day, how valuable is it to win here, not have to take it to 7 and get a couple days to rest for that?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to win the series, but this is ideal. You know, I probably give the players the weekend off and just to recuperate and then get ready for whoever we're playing. You know, Tuesday night, but you know, that game will be at home, so we'll have at least the next few days to prepare and recover, and so this was a huge win for us tonight, especially considering how many minutes a lot of our core guys played in this series.
You mentioned Pop, and so I would ask you, what did you say to your team knowing you were struggling but you were tied at halftime? Steph's 0 points. Could you give us a little insight of what you said to them going in?
That's basically what I said. I said, you know, we know Steph's going to get going, and you know, we're tied, and we're doing a great job. I loved the first half. I thought we competed like crazy, and we had key contributions off the bench, and so to go in on the road with Steph Curry with 3 fouls and no points, and you're tied. We felt pretty good about it, and that's what we talked about.
Steve, obviously Clay has had games like this. What have you noticed about big settings and the mentality that it takes to come up with a game like this?
I mean, Clay's just been doing this for so long. He's one of the best two-way players in the game. He's guarding James Harden and Chris Paul and Gordon. He's guarding their best players, and then coming down and he had 21 points in the first half to carry us with Steph struggling. But this is who Clay is. This is why he's such a great player. He's been doing this for a long time.
Valencia King, straight ahead, third row with Real Talk Sports. Coach, before the season began, you kind of put to rest any conversations about Quinn Cook and him stepping into his own. Being able that you were able to lean on him tonight, just how important is that for you as a coach?
Well, you have to have guys like Quinn on the bench who you can count on, whether they're in the rotation or not. And Quinn has been a rock for us the last couple of years. So happy and proud of him. To come out tonight and play 16 really important minutes when he had barely played the entire series. But so that's why he's on this team. He's a pro.
Steve, to your left, Reed Forgrave with CBS Sports. If you could humor me with a dumb sports writer question. Considering the circumstances and the curveball you were thrown with Kevin's injury and with DeMarcus's injury, where do you rank this win over the past 5 years, like as far as your guys' playoff runs?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a dumb question. Don't beat yourself up on that one. We were actually talking about it in there. It's one of the most satisfying victories we've had during this run. We've been blessed to have all this talent and competitiveness, and these guys are they're just amazing. So they've won a lot of big games, but this is definitely one of the most satisfying we've had.
Two more front row here.
Coach, we can look at the box scores and you can talk about the great numbers your players put up, but can you talk about just the mindset, that championship mindset, and how you get there? I mean, I know some of it is innate to each of them, but how do you get to that?
Well, it takes unique individuals on the team. The players who you have to have talent, but you have to have guys who are committed to each other and unafraid of the moment. And I thought you saw that tonight with Steph down the stretch. But Draymond, how hard he plays night in and night out. And I think once you win the first one, as a group, it gives you more confidence to win the next one. And I think that's what's happened over the last few years. Our guys just believe that they can do this. It gets more and more difficult physically, but I think mentally, since you've already done it, you can do it again.
Coach, did the energy level after the game in the locker room remind you some of your great nights, for the past?
Yeah, I mean, it shows you how much respect we have for Houston. I mean, we just finished a conference semifinal series. We're only halfway home to where we want to be, and yet the celebration in there was felt like a much bigger occasion, and it's because of the challenge that this team put before us. So we're all very happy, but now we got to get home and get some rest and prepare for the next round. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
To match the drive and compete level of Klay Thompson will be very difficult. The performance came with both tonight. Warriors move on. Splash. Talking about for a very long time. Maybe Houston, not as long as James Harden will be. Good start, though, for the Beard. Had 19 in the half. Step back three is good. Having a pull up. Notice the score, how tight it was, and would stay. On the other side, though, early, Smitty, Steph Curry struggles.
Yeah, he was. He's shooting it short, fouling, couldn't make it. This is the one where, this was kind of difficult, but he had another layup he missed as well. He was having a rough night, and he picked up the third foul.
That's the third foul.
That's the third foul right there.
Amount of drives at Curry after that. The amount of points he had in the first half, 0. Klay Thompson carrying Golden State.
You got to stay
however,
with him.
Huge
There's no
first
way
half.
he would. I'm not staying connected right now with him.
5 of 9 from deep, 21 points at the break.
Get off me. Step him back. I see you, Klay. Getting big buckets.
Tight game in the third. CP3 And he really was the run for the Rockets in the third quarter. Was good offensively, but then Steph starts to come alive. He had 10 of his 33. Remember, 0 in the first half. Do the math. You know what's coming in the fourth. That's a tease, Brendan, not foreshadowing.
All right.
Off glass, there's Chris Paul. 27 points, 11 boards. Then we had an eye poke. We'll get to that in a second. Curry from deep.
Ooh,
it's good.
Splash.
Rocket turnovers. Last time Sean Livingston scored double digits was January 16th. He had 11.
Don't stride on him, Sean. He's striding.
Better late than never.
Perhaps an eye for an eye. And he would take a seat. We're tied at 95. Ball movement. Looney. 6 of 8 B-Wood from the floor for Kevon Looney was
Looney
brilliant.
had a big game, especially in the first half. He really did his thing. And in the second half, it was all Steph Curry. He had 33 big points all in the second half. The team only had 61 in the second half, Smith. He had 33 of them.
Steph,
okay, don't dance with him.
Dance. Fingers. My prediction, pain for the Rockets. Looked okay there. Not done. Lead 5.
Good drive.
I thought James got fouled on that play, too.
I thought he some contact on that play.
James hit a big 3 before that. Was good on a couple of possessions.
Oh, no,
this is
that
better.
was a major mistake by CP3.
Yes, indeed.
Stunted off of Iguodala and left Clay open, and you know what that is.
Old school Warrior basketball. So the team that isolates gives up 2s for 3s.
You still got to go out there and
Relies
shake
on
hands,
2
don't you?
stars. Goes home.
You should. Smitty, you're not going to shake hands after the series? Is over with?
No, I am.
Huh?
I am.
Okay, just asking. Just checking, make sure they still do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, as the CP3 said afterwards, Shump kept saying, hey, don't let the other guys beat you. And they did. Iggy 5 of 8 from deep. Here he is with Alley of the Force.
All right, Andre, congratulations on the win. Not only did you guys not have Kevin Durant, but Steph Curry had 0 points at halftime. How'd you guys pull this one off and overcome it all?
I always say we have a resilient team. Our core, I don't know what it is. It's just indescribable, but it's something about us that we just figured out, you know. And the organization has done a great job of putting us in a position to just go out and play basketball and execute just from the top all the way down. So we got a guy like Steph Curry who is as perfect as a human being as you can find, but it's authentic and it's genuine. So he sets the tone for the right actions on and off the court, and it shows when we're struggling and we got his back.
This really was an example of strength in numbers. Your bench was scoring 10 points a game coming into this one. They put up over 30 because they had to. What was it like seeing them succeed and Steph get hot in the second half as well?
Yeah, well, Sean's been struggling with some injuries, and he's been gutting it out, you know, and he hasn't complained, he hasn't made any excuses, and our training staff did a hell of a job getting ready for the night. He was huge for us, and I talked about Jonas Jerebko last game, carried over to this game, not making shots in particular, but just having the right energy. Kevon Looney, well, he won game 5 for us, and tonight he was huge for us, made some huge baskets, got some huge second chance opportunities, and guys are just ready to step up when they get the opportunity.
It's hard to believe after that long physical series, it's not even the conference finals yet. What's the next step for this team in terms of recovery and regrouping before the next round?
I was supposed to get an ice bath in like 2 minutes, so to set up, prepare. I gotta get an ice bath, but take a day and just relax. And we've been playing for like 5-6 years straight, so you kind of get the routine. But you know, we know how to relax and then gear back up. DeMarcus is close. Kevin isn't too far away, so we just got to hold down the fort. And we can't take this as an accomplishment and have a letdown going into game 1 and game 2 of the next series. So Steph's got to bounce in the step, and looking forward to him coming the way he did second half going to the next series.
Congratulations on the win. Thanks for
You look at Andre Iguodala, and it's really symptomatic of what I wanted to discuss right after Coach D'Antoni came on. The realities, right? 3 times eliminated, 3 times at home. Mike is 43 and 44 in the playoffs. Adjustability and predictability, these aren't good abilities right now for the Rockets, because when we sit there, Curry in foul trouble, didn't go at him. Why didn't they trap early? Gerald Green, 31 minutes total in the series. Seemed to play too many minutes. I was saying when we watched the game, it looked like the ball was on fire.
Gerald Green got up 7 threes in 12 minutes.
Yes. 9 shots.
Who told him he was the go-to guy?
And by the way,
analytics.
And by the way, put up the biggest shot of the game. The biggest shot for the Rockets of the game when they were still there, the 3, he took because he was put back on the floor. You have to question whether or not the Rockets, as they move forward, you can't take CP3's contract off. James Harden not going anywhere. Tucker's still there. Capella's signed.
How much?
The only thing you could change is leadership.
How much CP3 going to get for the next
A lot.
40 million per? Yeah, you stuck with that contract. You're going to keep that thing forever like luggage.
And for D'Antoni, it's the adjustments in crunch time. It's also, for me, is the body language on the bench, in the huddles. And we don't hear everything from the studio, but I just don't feel like he's making the right plays. And sometimes you got to make the plays, B. Wood. You got to make these adjustments. And some of these, I would say, play calling or just feels, and they might not work. But you also got to be willing to pull it and scrap it. And throughout the game, you got to keep going through it. And sometimes you got to play the game in your mind, but you're going into the game knowing there's no Kevin Durant. And if I get Steph Curry in the foul trouble, I love Iguodala. He comes out, he does what he does, he makes big shots, but he has to beat me. He has to take even more shots. Draymond has to take even more shots. You cannot allow Klay Thompson to pretty much keep the Warriors in the game with a Steph Curry with no points and 3 fouls. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah, and then like we were in the back and we were kind of puzzled. In the second half, you know Steph Curry has 3 fouls. They didn't really run plays at Steph
None.
Curry. And that's one of the things, you know, if he gets his 4th foul, he has to sit down. That's advantage you, especially without Kevin Durant playing. So these are some of the things, some of the questionable decisions that Mike D'Antoni made, some of the things he's going to have to live with in the offseason. And then I think also in the offseason, he's going to have to look at the style of play that they play now. And I'm not saying scrap everything because they win a lot of games that way, but say, hey, maybe we have to unlock a little bit more of our game. Instead of just saying we play the 3-point line, the free throw line, and get layups, maybe you have to look for a couple more mid-range jumpers, especially from a guy like James. James can really get it done in the mid-range. At least he did early on in his career at OKC. James Harden was also a very good post-up player. So maybe you unlock his full game, and then you get away from some of the analytics. You still use the analytics, but you get away with some of the analytics and tie it in with common basketball sense.
Here's what makes it look worse, and this was so impressive to me, probably even more so to you guys, considering you know how difficult it is to make it look easy. Go look at the Warriors. Jerebko didn't make every shot, but at no point did he look like he didn't know where he was supposed to be or go. Made the right play, didn't rush shots. Jordan Bell hasn't played in I don't know since when. Came out, played under control, didn't take bad shots, knew where to give the ball. Looney, I said he looked like Al Horford in the first half, sitting in that pivot spot, going left, going right. Guys understand the system. That shows to me practice. It shows development. It shows the culture of you need to be ready, right? Because you don't have to get ready if you are ready. That, to me, makes it look worse when you don't adjust, when guys make mistakes, and it looks erratic. Because the Warriors, to me, that tells you all. Everybody who came off the bench to me knew exactly where we were supposed to be.
It tells me those guys are getting it done and they're professionals. Steve Kerr said it is talent and also character. It's also their player development. You don't just walk into games and have these type of games. You've been practicing, been prepared, and waiting. And those guys are waiting. I mean, Steve Kerr talked about it. They usually go deep. They haven't been deep this entire regular season or playoffs. But when it was called upon, those guys came in and made the right play. And B. Wood knows this. The right play is just to make the right basketball play. And I go, B. Wood would say, that's okay, Smith, you missed a shot. Quentin Cook had a couple easy mid-range jumpers, but they were the right plays. And overall, throughout a game, you keep making the right plays, it usually keeps yourself in the game. And then you have that guy named Steph Curry, bang, to take you home. And it was phenomenal to see Iguodala. It was phenomenal to see Steve Kerr's adjustments. It was disappointing for me because this is no Kevin Durant for the Golden State Warriors, and the Warriors won this series.
There's no such thing as the game really slowing down, but it looks like it does for the Warriors. Jerebko, that one doesn't take a 3, step inside, hit the shot. The lay for Livingston in the lane. Gerald Green and others for the Rockets seemed like it was moving fast. Give Harden and Paul some credit. They did play. Chris played his best game of the series.
These chances.
Played well.
Game 5, you should have won that one
yes.
when Durant goes out. You should have won this one, and you should have won Game 7. You didn't even get the chance to get to Game 7.
If they only had a healthy Melo, if they only had a healthy
come on, man. Leave Melo alone, man.
Well, I'm just saying.
I heard he's getting a reoccurring role in power this year.
Oh. You know, and then there's that. While Hayward turns the ball over, we'll turn it into some offense. Go to the break. This seems cruel. You know, Chris Paul does some things with State Farm, but this time it was against him. The ball movement, the old school Warriors, the right way to play basketball, the hockey assist, and the clay dagger.
You were waiting outside the visitors' locker room to celebrate. You had a lot of energy, and you and Steph really had a big celebration. What did it mean to share that with him, and what do you think of the way he performed at the end of the game?
I don't think we really had a big celebration, but, you know, this one felt good. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it like, oh, no, we're used to this. Like, yeah, we're used to winning, but this one felt amazing. It's obviously a great team we just played, and to come on the road, just losing Kevin, Steph with 0 points in the first half, and to get this win, you know, that one felt amazing. And, you know, Steph down the stretch was incredible. Like everything we did for probably the whole fourth quarter was around him. And he made the right plays, he made shots, but you got to give a lot of credit to Clay. You know, Clay, he pretty much kept us in the game. We had nothing going except for Clay and Andre. Andre stepped up, and, you know, that was big. Then our entire bench, everybody who stepped on the floor came in and gave us great minutes. And so, you know, being, you know, just the way it all unfolded, you know, just getting contributions from everybody, this one felt really good. I know that was a long-ass answer. I apologize, but it felt amazing.
Draymond, a lot has been made about how the Warriors bench isn't as strong or as good as previous years, but can you talk about how that strength in numbers translates to now and what that bench looks like now?
I mean, we've all heard that all year about our bench isn't as strong, and you know, obviously we're not as deep. Everyone said that. You know, tonight everyone came off that bench, proved everybody wrong, and you know, it couldn't happen at a better time for us. You know, just like I said, with Kevin going out, there's not one person on this team that can make up for what we lose with Kevin, because, you know, someone can make it up on the offensive end, and then do you do it on the defensive end? If you make it up on the defensive end, can you do it on the offensive end? He brings so much to this team, and, you know, for guys to step up the way they did, everybody who came off that bench, you know, it was big for us. And so, you know, people can say what they want, but when the moment gets big, we got guys who step up.
Mr. Green, did it feel like you went back to the 2015-2016 season with the offense that you all had to run without Kevin being in the game?
There were some times where it felt like that, you know, where it's just, you know, a lot of pace, a lot of movement, you know, just trying to push the tempo. You know, with Kevin, you just kind of got that luxury of, you can kind of be lazy because you always know you can just throw the ball to K and he's going to go get a bucket. To not have that luxury, it's a big change for us. And, you know, nonetheless, everybody adjusted, and it wasn't pretty. You know, this game wasn't pretty for us by any standards. I don't think we played great at all, but down the stretch we did, and so that was big. But it definitely was a little throwback for us for sure.
Hey, Draymond, to your left, Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat. That team, the Rockets, they've built themselves to beat the Warriors. They've talked about it openly, everything they've done the last couple years. This was their best chance, maybe, with KD out and in a tight series. Is that part of the reason for the satisfaction that you guys felt coming off the court today?
I think so. You know, all year. I mean, for years now, but definitely this year, like, we've listened to them all year talk about how they're waiting to beat us and they want to run it back, and Chris Paul was hurt. You got to give them some credit, though. It take a lot of, I don't know if I can use the word I want to use, so let me think of one to fill it in. Take a lot of heart to just kind of throw it out there that, like, yeah, we're beating them, because it adds pressure. So, I mean, you got to give them credit. There's not many people that would be willing to say, yeah, we're going after them. Like, you just kind of quietly do it. And so, I mean, you got to give them guys a lot of credit for that. And like I said, this still wasn't an easy series. So it was tough, but we're able to figure it out, and we're able to come away with the win, and that's all that really matters.
Draymond, Mark, Medina Bay Area News Group. When Clay has these kind of games like this, what do you notice about his mentality?
He's just in attack mode. I kind of had a feeling Clay would have a game like this when in the first quarter I saw him try to shoot the ball from like 40 feet. And he's like, I didn't shoot it a couple times, and then he finally shot one. Like, he's just extremely confident in attack mode. And when he's attacking like that, obviously we know he's one of the greatest shooters in the world. And so, you know, that was real big for us. And when we needed it most, because like I said, he carried us that first half, and he hit some timely buckets. Even that last three that he hit, that was huge. That kind of closed the game off for us. So huge last couple games by Clay, and we needed them both. And with the way things played out for us.
Draymond, can you talk about the fact that you guys played a win and not to not lose, just kind of how you guys approach the game?
I think, you know, there's it's funny you say that, because there's a very fine line in playing to win and playing not to lose. Not to lose, you're kind of, you know, you're on your heels. You're just trying not to make a mistake. Playing to win, you're just out there going. You know, you're trying to make plays. You know, you're just free flowing. And so, and that's something that we always talk about with this team is fast, loose, and discipline. And you know, that ties right into that. Just always being that way and playing to win the game. You know, playing not to lose can get in your way quite a bit.
Draymond. Reed Forgrave with CBS Sports. Considering the circumstances, KD's injury, DeMarcus's injury, compared to like other playoff victories during this run,
I mean, I'd have to sit back. You know, it's been what, 5 years now that we've been doing this. I'd have to really sit back in that game 4 in Portland, and went nuts in fourth quarter and overtime. Obviously, winning the finals was always great. You know, a couple of those games where KD hit those bombs in Cleveland, in those game 4s, I think it was, maybe game 3, was huge. But this one feels good. Because just all the circumstances that go into it. Like I said, a team that's said for years, we're built to beat them. Us. You know, then Kevin goes down and everyone now give us a chance. I hear we was the biggest underdog in the Steve Kerr era or something like that. Like, you know, you take all those things into account. This one feels amazing. If I said it otherwise, I'd be sitting here lying to you. It felt good. But we got a lot more work to do.
Draymond, Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Just talk about what Andre and Sean add to the team off the court as their veteran leadership, because we know you guys get a lot out of them.
They just kind of add that calming, like they're just a calming presence for us. You know, they come in, Andre's been starting, but it's just settle things down. Andre hitting big shots tonight. But off the court as well. I mean, even if you want to take it even a step further with having guys like that you can talk about investing your money with and like different things, like they just fill a lot of roles for guys on this team. And tonight they both were huge. I think Sean had a point there where, you know, he probably scored 6-7 points in a row for us. I mean, it was really big moments from both of them, and at a time where we really needed it. But they've been kind of that steady piece for us for years now, and you know, they're valuable to this team. I mean, their value to this team is like you can't really quantify it. It's big. It's huge for us.
Tom Haberster, NBC Sports. Draymond, coming into this game, you guys knew how important it was not to foul and pick up fouls against this team. When Steph picked up his second foul, what was going through your mind as his teammate when he picked up his second foul in the first quarter?
You just kind of, you know, disappointed because we know we need him on the floor, especially, like I said, with Kevin being out, DeMarcus out. That's, you know, a lot of our offense is going to be based around Steph. So it was a bit frustrating, and not necessarily frustrated with Steph, just frustrated at the fact that he got 2 fouls, knowing that we need everybody out there on the floor. we were able to overcome it in large part to what Clay was doing out there, but everybody who came off the bench was giving us good minutes in those times that he was on the bench. And so just a real true testament, to guys staying ready. Steve always tell guys you never know when your chance is coming. Just stay ready. And it kind of gets cliche. I've been a guy who's been on the bench and someone telling you stay ready. And, you try to be professional and keep working, but it gets frustrating. Everybody on our bench has stayed ready, and it showed in a major way tonight.
Unbelievable game for all of the Warriors collectively. You heard Draymond there talking about how satisfying it is. He'd have to look at some of the wins. Andrew Bogut was after the game by the media, by his locker, and he said that this is, quote, the most satisfying victory in his time as a Golden State Warrior. And remember what happened during his first time around. So, clearly they were challenged, and rising to it the way that they did collectively brought them together. On the other side, James Harden, 35 points and another season headed home.
Mr. Harden, you had a great season, and I know you didn't want it to end this way, but how proud are you of your teammates the way they fought to the end tonight?
Extremely proud. That's kind of been the story all year long. We've been fighting, no matter what troubles hit our way. We find a way to fight through it. We find a way to be on top. Tonight we came up a little short, but it was a pretty good year for us.
James, do you feel like y'all let an opportunity slip away with not being able to win this game?
Of course. Yeah, we let a lot of opportunities slip away. Opportunities in the last game, opportunities in game 1 and 2. If you don't take advantage of the opportunities, you can end up on the losing side.
James, Mike was saying that this one's really going to sting even more than normal. What are you feeling right now?
It always hurts when you're seasoned in, knowing that you had opportunities. Very, very frustrating. It's, you gotta let it sink in a little bit and find ways to be better.
James, obviously the Warriors have been the one hurdle you guys haven't been able to get over. Do you feel like there needs to be significant changes to be made to get past them, or just keep swinging, keep swinging?
Keep fighting, man. Obviously, they're a very, very good team. Like, they're a great team. They've been in the finals for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, we're not losing to some scrubs. So we got to find a way to keep getting better, keep growing, keep getting better, and keep putting ourselves in a position to keep playing them. Like, give them credit. They play well. Obviously they've been in a situation before, and Clay got it going in the first half. We kind of shut him down, and Steph got it going. So talented group.
James, you're to your left a little bit. Along those lines, it is particularly frustrating in that there's just not a lot of margin for error against a team like this, and
it's
you
not
run into that
it's
wall.
Not, it's not frustrating. It is what it is. Like, we're in the postseason, and you're playing against the best players in the world. So you got to be on your A game on both ends of the floor, whether it's switching screens or rebounding the basketball or not turning the basketball over and giving them fuel in transition. Like, you have to be on your A game, and the games that we lost, we weren't.
James, Chris, and Mike both talked about the big plays and how the Rockets really couldn't come and make a big play. Can you just kind of elaborate on that, and if what the struggle was to make the big play for you guys?
I think that's what it is. Whether it's a big play can be anything. Whether it's not just shot making, it's rebounding, boxing out, switching correctly. All those little things. And we gave Steph 3 open looks, and he nailed all of them. And so that's right there. Those are the big plays. Like, we don't give him those open looks, and we get the rebound. We give ourselves a chance to go up, but we didn't. And he makes a shot, and it puts more pressure on our offense.
Even though Kevin didn't play today, the guys that did play for them, they've been together for 5-6 years. How much do you think that continuity helps them, and would you like to see this team have the opportunity to grow like that together?
Yeah, like, they've been together for a long time. So even with KD not playing, they're still the same team. They still know their stuff, and they execute, and they run their stuff, and they play hard. So nothing changes. It's just Steph and Klay get more shot opportunities.
James, do you have a sense of what needs to happen to get over this hurdle? Even if the roster stays mostly the same, is there something about either the way you guys play or what you can take from these experiences that gets you the next step that they've stopped each time?
I know what we need to do. I know exactly what we need to do. Just we'll figure it out this summer.
James, obviously you guys are always playing to win, but did you find yourselves kind of in a spot where sometimes you find yourself accidentally playing not to lose in some situations?
Nah, I mean, personally, that never was in my mind. I was just out there trying to find ways to impact the game like usual, you know, whether it's shot making, whether it's creating some, pace with our defense or whatnot. Just finding ways. Like every game, every possession is going to be something different. So just trying to give the guys confidence and motivation to want to go out there and play hard and have fun.
James, you guys obviously came a long way this year after the start, 1-5 and 11-14. But if you look back at a big picture, did that hurt you guys at all? Just the number 4 seed, not having home court advantage, and when you're trying to win a title, not starting the way a championship team does?
That's exactly. You hit it on the nail. Especially against a great team like that, like you want to give yourself the best chance. And we, 4th seed, we had the first series we were on at home court advantage. Second, you had to play on the road, which is difficult, So we got to get off to a better start, and we got to give ourselves a best chance and get that number 1 and number 2 seed. So it's a huge part of it.
You said you know exactly what you need to do. What is that?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it.
Thanks.
KD was paying attention, watching the game. Looks quite comfy by where he's at. Way to close it out. Dub Nation. And the nation was strong with Klay Thompson.
Klay, what did you think about the way Steph was able to bounce back after the first half that he had?
Did not surprise me one bit. The man is a competitor, a champion, and on top of all that, he just plays with such great heart that he's our leader. And his composure is unbelievable as well.
Klay, to your left, Draymond mentioned earlier how he knew, kind of looking at you early on, that you were big game ready today. Can you talk about kind of how you looked to establish yourself early and how you were able to keep the team afloat in that first half?
Well, without Kevin, I just knew I had to move a lot without the ball. I had to get to my spots, rise up, collectively make up for what he does, but you can step up in his absence and help out the point production, and I think everyone else did such a great job. I mean, Sean Livingston, what a game for him. Kevon Looney, our bench played amazing tonight. Guys who haven't played the whole postseason stepping up and making a huge impact is just a testament to, the kind of players you have on this team and the professionals they are.
I was going to kind of ask you about that a little bit. This is, a lot of people have said this is the thinnest you guys have been. What did it mean in this environment to get all you got from pretty much everyone else tonight?
Well, when we're doubted, when our back's against the wall, we just go out there and fight. We just go there and play with heart. And, guys like Jerebko and Quinn Cook, Jordan Bell, our whole bench, everyone played tonight. And everyone gave a huge contribution. So it was a beautiful thing to be a part of, and they're true pros, and this is what they've been preparing for all year.
Hey, Klay, you obviously had that big Game 6 in OKC a few years back. But where would you rank this playoff performance?
I don't know, man. It's up there. It's hard to digest right now just because it's so fresh and so many emotions went through that tonight. But it just feels good to get this win, man. I have the utmost respect for the Rockets. The margin of victory and this series was so little that it really could have gone either way. And I'm just proud of the guys and their resiliency.
Mr. Thompson, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Draymond earlier. Did it kind of have that 2015 feel going back without having Kevin in the game with the offense that you all run? He said it felt like a little bit of throwbackish.
It did. Like Steve Kerr said, we didn't have the ultimate luxury tonight, a man who can just go out there and get you 40 on a whim. So we had to play a little more diligent with the ball. We had to be more crisp with our passes. We couldn't, and the room for error was a lot less compared to when Kevin's out there. And I'm happy we won, so we can get some rest and get him healthy, because if we're going to get this three-peat, we desperately need him back. You know, he's our best player, so we dearly miss him, and we'll hold it down while he's out, but it's not the same without him, far from it.
On your left, Clay, at halftime with Steph not having any points, did you have any pep talk with him or say anything to him?
Yeah.
Just as a teammate going through a big Game 6?
I know he's been here before. I don't need to say anything to him. His spurt ability and his ability to get points in bunches is like the best in the world in the history of the game. So he was playing well. He just was in a little foul trouble. He was making the right play. Our offense was flowing, so I knew he was going to get going. And nobody better have the ball in their hands at the end of the game, especially when you need to knock down some free throws. He's going to be clutch for you every time.
Clay, Draymond talked about the bench proving everybody wrong tonight for you guys. Kevon Looney had 14 points and 5 boards. Can you just talk about his effort and what he brought to the table tonight?
I'm so proud of Kevon, what he's been through in his young career, having hip surgery, having doubt about his ability to get on the floor, and now to be, you know, in the playoffs, winning us basketball games, and being a tremendous role player. It's incredible. It's a testament to his work ethic and his patience, and he's a real champion. He's a incredible talent. You saw tonight his ability to score around the basket, to defend guards, and to rebound. It's amazing, and I can't sing his praises enough. He was a real difference maker for us in this series.
Clay, on the light side, how do you always find a way to bounce back from such a short period of time?
Just focus and determination. I mean, you never know how long this run will last, so you might as well make it and give it your all. Nothing's guaranteed in this league, and I knew we just didn't really want to play a Game 7, man. Anything can happen in a Game 7, so I came in here with somewhat of a free swing, and we swung it all right, and I'm just proud of everybody.
Nice. No problem. You can count on him.
Hey, look, we've seen, and I think hopefully Kyrie learns from it, but the best and the worst of what you want. We got kids, athletes, not who cares. Care with everything you got for the people around you. He was happiest talking about what, Steph? Talking about Kevon Looney. And that dude right there was on one from jump. He was so engaged in this game. That fight, how do you not love watching him play?
You definitely, you have to love watching Clay play, because Clay goes out there and he isn't the fastest, he isn't the quickest. He just has a hunger. He believes in himself. He's honed his craft as a shooter. He understands how to play. He understands angles, how to get his shot off. And then he just has a competition level. When there's a loose ball or when it's time to fight and time to scrap, Klay Thompson goes out there and he gets it done.
B. Wood, I love that you said a competition level. I mean, you just never doubt. He has some tough shooting nights, but you when he's hurt, you go, Klay's he's gonna play.
Yeah.
He's going to have a big game the next game. He's one of those guys, he doesn't have the best game, but I think if you look at over the years and the seasons, he's put a pounding on his body of guarding everybody. He's guarding James Harden tonight and also had to put up 21 big ones in the first half. He competes. He loves his teams. He understands the game of life. He's one of my favorite to watch play, and also one of the favorite just to see the way he carries himself.
If you're on the other side, you should be asking yourself, when you lose to Klay Thompson and you don't have that same hunger, how does that guy who's won how many championships on his way to his 5th straight Western Conference final play harder than we did at home? He's on the road. He's won those championships. I'm not saying that all the Rockets didn't, because, look, P.J. Tucker, I don't think, took a second off the whole series, and he was all over it. But that to me is that's what you show. That's how you maximize your.
With the
talent.
Rockets, there was enough blame to go around.
Yes.
I think that
That's clear.
James played well, but you still need him to take this game over. I think there was some coaching plan, some coaching schematics that didn't go well. I'm not sure if it was not executed by the players, but there were some things I thought that Mike could have done differently as a coach. And then there were the effort plays. And in the first half, you saw the plays made by Looney. You saw the 10 points off of offensive rebounds in the first half. Those are the big plays that kept the Golden State Warriors in the game when Steph wasn't there. If you don't give up all those offensive rebounds in the first half and don't give up those second half points, if you have a 10-point cushion instead of the game being tied, now we might be looking at a totally different ball game. But in the first half, give Golden State credit. They made all the hustle plays. And in the second half, Steph just carried him and did what he did, show why he's a two-time MVP.
You look at some of the plays, and I mean, the Warriors did everything they could and found a way.
How does that happen?
I mean, come on.
Looney can't drive from the top of the key and nobody rotate over.
Somebody has to rotate.
Watch out, watch out, Austin.
And I asked you guys this, but you're watching. I hate seeing this because he's had such a good career. But you're watching Nene on these plays, and he did his best. No rebounds in the first half. What happened to Kenneth Faried? Where did he go?
They put him in. They put him in the deep freezer.
There's Sean Livingston.
Oh.
Just some of the, not only effort, B-Wood, just basketball.
Look at Looney.
Look at my guy Looney, though. Steps right into this area, goes up and finishes.
That was a pass.
No, it wasn't.
I did ask. It was a. We discussed that. Official score again. Looney was fantastic. And you know the thing that you love is they enjoy so much giving each other the easier shot. You could see it. I mean, you can't look. You could fake it even in a press conference. You can't fake it when it happens. The joy they had seeing Looney have that success, and Steph. 33 in the second half.
Obviously, it was a first half that you're not used to, scoring 0 points. Going into the locker room, what was your mindset, and what did Steve Kerr tell you guys at the half?
I mean, all things considered, Clay kept us afloat in the first half. The way he played was 21 and just hitting some big shots to kill their momentum. I was in foul trouble, obviously, and couldn't really get a feel or become assertive, just worrying about that. And at halftime, we're tied, and I had 0 points. Like, you got to like that situation. And knew, obviously, it was going to be a hard-fought game down the stretch with everything on the line. And our defense really carried us in the second half to allow, that offensive rhythm to start to pick up. And, we've been in situations like these before and really dug deep in that experience to, keep our composure, stay solid, and close out the series. So damn proud of our team for sure.
Steph, on your left. Steve talked earlier about the genesis of you and his relationship and how him of Manu Ginobili and kind of the, the push-pull of kind of, aggravation but also elation and excitement. Can you talk about how you guys' relationship has grown over the years and how much confidence it gives you to know that you go down and have 0 points and you're able to, he gives you that cushion to come back and show what you're worth?
I mean, it's been a great ride, with him leading our team and his consistency in terms of messaging and trying to just keep the right perspective for us with the championship aspirations we've had every year, and he keeps it real with us. There's a moment tonight where I had my second foul after I fouled James on the 3, and I saw on the board he had put Quinn in, and obviously I had a reaction to that. I walk into the huddle, and he keeps it real. He's like, how can I trust you to not get your third when you know how big this game is right now, and you put yourself in a situation, predicament to get your second foul. So I got to make a decision, put Quinn in. Quinn was ready. Obviously I didn't like it, but we have a strong relationship where he knows I'm not gonna lose confidence in that moment, and whenever I get back on the floor, hopefully good things will happen. And that's obviously built over time, and just him and his entire staff. It's just a great vibe, and they bring the best out of us, and that's why we are who we are.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Stephen, how do you explain
the first half and the second half? I mean, we saw it unfold and develop, but in your mind, what's going on in the first half and what's going on in the second half as you're doing these things?
I mean, the first half was literally just stop fouling, because you get two within the first 5-6 minutes and understand how they are going to adjust their defense to try to take me out in pick and roll situations and trapping and all that type of stuff. There's a normal kind of flow for me to get involved in the game, that scoring. But when you get distracted by fouls and you're on the bench just watching, it's tough. Again, I knew a 48-minute game, there's going to be a moment I could really turn it on, and second half just try to not pick up a fourth early, and then a couple shots go down, start to see the floor a little bit, understand what they're doing differently defensively, and then the floodgates open. So this stage in terms of how this game was huge. I've had games like this, maybe not as drastic, with 0-33, but where things weren't going your way and you start to just figure it out. But I'm glad it obviously happened.
Steph, all the way to your left, Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Does a game like tonight really exemplify the motto, strength in numbers, the way you guys were able to lean into Quinn and Bell?
For sure. We talked about that after KD went down, like who's going to help, fill those minutes. And again, that kind of goes back to Coach Kerr in terms of keeping it real with everybody on the bench. You don't know when your number is going to be called, whether it's from game 1 through 82 or in the playoffs. And we have guys that work hard. They take care of their bodies. They, stay sharp with their skill sets, and understanding that moments like tonight is where it all pays off. And, we celebrate those guys for being ready. I told Quinn, when I was on the bench in the first half, I just looked, the look in, he didn't make any shots in the first half, but just the look in his eye, like he knew he was ready for that moment, and that's contagious, that confidence and that energy. So JB as well, he made a bunch of huge plays on both ends of the floor, and we needed every bit of it.
Hey, Steph, Mark Medina, Bay Area News Group. What does it take to get a road win in 21 consecutive playoff series?
It's crazy. I don't really know the common thread more than just belief and chemistry and just composure. No matter how a game goes, it's a 48-minute game, and we understand what we're capable of and who we are and what our identity is on both ends of the floor. And tonight, really, I guess you break down how tonight went. That embodies, everything, really. So, pretty special night in terms of, closing out this series on the road and keeping that streak intact.
And regarding Clay having a Clay game, what's his mentality like in those games?
It's like he's in the park, just putting up shots on a little chain link net or something, just, enjoying playing basketball. And his personality and his perspective on life really makes him different in these moments. 'Cause I don't know if he really even feels pressure. He's just out there hooping. The shots he was taking in the first half, understanding the situation, confidence to knock him down, was huge for us. So, we don't win this game tonight without, everybody on the court, but especially Clay in that first half to give us life and give us a reason to, be in it in the second half.
Steph, on your left, Nick Friedel, ESPN. What's it like for you guys to win this game in this moment and still know that Kevin is going to come back at some point in the next series?
I mean, it's huge. We had an opportunity to, it's kind of weird saying prove a lot of people wrong, knowing what we've accomplished, but it's a lot of talk in the last 24, 48 hours about, what we should and should not do in this series with K out. But I talked about it a lot. K has been unbelievable in this playoff run. We don't get to a Game 6 opportunity to close it out without, him playing unbelievable, spectacular basketball and carrying us for these first 11 games. And the least we could do is come in here, get a win, stretch, get some rest before the Western Conference Finals, and give him an opportunity to get healthy and go chase another championship. So special. I know he's back at home celebrating, and can't wait to get back and prepare for next series.
Steph, you win the game, everything comes out great. You have 33 in the second half, but how bad were you in the first half?
That's a great question. I was pretty terrible. Obviously didn't make a shot, was fouling. I think the only thing I did well was not turn the ball over for the 12 minutes I was out there on the floor. So I find a positive in everything.
Second row middle. Mr. Curry, last time you were here, you were saying that you had listened to the chatter the last 48 hours and what people have been saying about you. What do you think they're going to say now with the performance that you had in the second half?
That I get to play in the Western Conference Finals in 2019. So our story's crazy. It's been like that for the last 5 years, and it's going to continue to be until it's over. So, again, I gotta say, I try to stay even keel. Like after Game 3, hearing the chatter, hearing how poorly I was playing, this and that. A night like tonight doesn't happen without belief in myself, one, understanding my purpose, being able to play in these type of games, and the people I have around me pouring some positivity and great energy into me and keeping my perspective straight on. It's just basketball. It's a game I've played since I was 2 years old, so take the good with the bad, and you just play and have fun doing what you get to do.
Last two. Marcus over there, left-hand side.
Two questions for you, Steph. One, why'd you go back to the Curry ones from 2015? And two, like in the game like this, like how big is Draymond and just like the energy and spirit he brings?
He's unbelievable, man. There's no true way to gauge his impact besides us winning in terms of what he brings every night. Timely plays, like you say. He's vocal in the locker room, on the bench, on the floor. He's demonstrative. He gives us, that belief that no matter how a game's going, we're still in it. And he's a jack of all trades, obviously. Every possession he's doing something different. And it's just unbelievable to watch the energy that he puts out on the floor and the challenges he takes for us. So he's a true champion. He's a dog. You want to go to war with a guy like that every single night. What was the other question?
Curry shoes.
Oh, I wanted to lean into it. Obviously, without K, we've had a certain look and dynamic, and I felt good in those shoes once upon a time, so I wanted to bring them back. I had some people, my family knows I'm real superstitious at times, and if I have a bad half, most of the time I might change shoes at halftime. But I didn't feel like I gave myself an opportunity to prove that it was the right call to bring those out of the garage, and it obviously worked out. So nice little flash from the past and moving on to the next round.
Last one, standing up left hand.
Tom Haberstroh, NBC Sports. Steph, before the game, the betting markets has you guys as a 7-point underdog.
We're not supposed to comment on that, are we?
No, you can now. After the game, LeBron James tweeted, "Never underestimate the heart of a champion." Dwayne Wade said, "Y'all better stop disrespecting Stephen Curry just because he's a team-first guy and is willing to sacrifice in moments doesn't mean he's still not a beast." Do you feel like going into this game you were underestimated or disrespected coming into this game?
I've heard a lot of noise this series for sure. I'll just leave it at that. And whether it's positive, negative, whatever the case is, like I know what I'm capable of, and it's bigger than me. So I don't get caught up in that. I don't need any extra motivation. I don't need to hear who I am as a player. I know that, and so my confidence never wavers in those type of moments. I obviously appreciate those words, and champions recognize champions and what it takes to win games like tonight and do what we've been able to do over these last 5 years. So hopefully more of that to come.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that.
They're the shoes that Steph was talking about, and These shoes are made for balling, and balling is what he would do in the second half. How about 33 points, six shy of a half record, and a whole family of happiness right now.
Better
Put a bow on it when we come back, live on Game Time. Sunday, a pair of Game 7s. Can Dame bring his time on the road? Or will it be the Joker who has the last laugh? And then how about Kawhi, speaking of laughs that began the season, and the Raptors against the Sixers, who've been up and down and up again. As of right now, we don't know about the healthiness of Embiid because it always seems like we find out hours before, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we know a healthy future for the Warriors. Questions about if KD will be ready physically by then, that all TBD. What's the one thing you take most from what you saw tonight on the floor?
Well, I think for me is this team, their talent, their character, their heart, what they put in before, what they're doing before we see them on the court. And then also being able to understand the big moment. Everybody was ready for the big moment, whether they won or not. They were ready for adjustments. They were ready to come out there and compete. And they did that. Sean Livingston, who hadn't played a lot, has been, obviously battling a lot of injuries. He came out and just left it on the floor. I like that they leave it on the floor. And then it still comes down to they get stops. We talk about their offensive lot, but they get stops when they need it. B-Wood.
For me, it came down to what I really took away from this game is the Splash Brothers. And the Splash Brothers really had to step up. When we talk about Steph, we talk about Clay. Clay took over the first half. Steph took over the second. And both those guys jumped right back into where they were in 2015, 2016 as being the dominant forces on their team. And it really shows me how unselfish they are. Because sometimes their game goes up and down because they have to sacrifice so much because they have to let Kevin Durant be the leader of this team because he is the best player in the league right now. But I really like the fact that when called upon, Steph was able to put on the right shoes, like he said in the second half, and step right back into being the MVP type of caliber player that we know he is.
Just to kind of finalize that, the two stars, this has been a team for a long time. Everyone has said, the depth guys are too old. Iguodala, most threes he's ever had in a playoff game, 5 of 8. And Livingston, for the first time in 4 months with double digits, has a huge game with 11 points. Don't forget those guys in the mix either. We will see you. We'll be here all night long. All the highlights, look aheads to the Game 7s, and more. How about that Lakers protest? You'll want to see that.
That was more or less like a small gathering.
It was like a hangout.
They're taking a test.